Exciting round of 16 action here in Cincinnati. Sybille Bammer taking on the Australian Open and Wimbledon champion, Serena Williams. Tennis Channel proudly presents the Western and Southern Financial Group Women's Open. A premier 5 events on the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour. Our continuing coverage of round of 16 action. Sybille Bammer of Austria taking on Serena Williams, a world number 2. Hi everyone, welcome to Tennis Channel, home of the Slams. Welcome to Cincinnati, and I'm joined by Karina Morariu, who's taking the spot of Lindsay Davenport.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, Leif.
Glad to have you again with us for another great third-round match here featuring Serena Williams, but it's almost worth mentioning the remarkable performance of Kim Clijsters. It's almost as if after 2 years she hasn't missed a step.
Such an incredible performance, already in the quarterfinals, taking out the French Open champion in Svetlana Kuznetsova in 3 sets. What a remarkable performance. She looks physically fit, she looks mentally tough, and we're going to see plenty of more of her over the rest of the summer.
Yeah, and she's already making a big impression on the Olympus U.S. Open Series. Remember, this is the third of 5 events for the women, 10 in total, including the ATP Tour of the men. Over $30 million in total prize money, and potentially $1 million in bonus prize money at the U.S. Open. So our third match today, it's been a big day of tennis here on Tennis Channel, features Serena Williams, who has had a great season, having won the Australian and having won Wimbledon, but she didn't play particularly well in Stanford, sort of being beaten there in a surprise loss.
She lost in the quarterfinals to Samantha Stosur. We mentioned Serena Williams' Grand Slam performances. That's when she comes to play. It's these tournaments, the regular tournaments on the tour, that she struggles with her motivation. So it's going to be interesting to see how Serena shows up physically and mentally in this match today.
And here is a look at Stanford taking on Sam Stosur, who played a wonderful match, but it was a winnable match for Serena, but she just couldn't get it done.
Well, Serena had plenty of opportunities in the third set against Stosur, but Stosur full of confidence right now, and that was a tough matchup for Serena, and playing a confident opponent, and again, not playing much tennis since Wimbledon, so again, it'll be interesting to see how she comes out today, and this is a good gauge for her and her performance heading into the U.S. Open.
Yeah, these are the kind of conditions she likes. The conditions will be hot and fast here at the Linder Tennis Stadium in Cincinnati. She's taking on Sybille Bammer, a left-hander from Austria, who's a strong player, but it's a match that Serena will be heavily favored to win.
Another mom on the tour. What's going on? We had Kim Clijsters earlier. Sybille Bammer has a daughter that she travels with, and she is a dangerous opponent. Hits the ball flat. She's a lefty, likes to be aggressive, and Serena's going to have to be ready to play today. She's going to have to be sharp and focused from the beginning.
And Serena obviously has the skills to get it done. Will she have learned a bit having watched Kuznetsova go down to Clijsters?
I don't think she was worried about Kuznetsova. She's focused on her match today. There's no question if Serena Williams comes out focused and plays her best tennis, she's going to win this match. The question is, how motivated is she and how mentally tough is she going to be coming into this fourth-round match?
That's right. Well, her sister Venus was a victim earlier today. She was upset. Can Serena avoid the same fate here in Cincinnati? Serena Williams up next. Round of 16 action from Cincinnati on Tennis Channel. So glad you could be with us in Cincinnati, the third of a brilliant day of tennis. This one features Serena Williams taking on Sybille Bammer of Austria. We're just outside Cincinnati. This is Mason, Ohio. And well, maybe we saved the best for last. We've got Serena Williams, 27 years of age, two-time Grand Slam champion this year alone. She has 11 in her career, residing in Palm Beach Gardens. And always exciting to watch Serena play because she's such a great athlete, great shot maker, and a great personality.
A great competitor. She's so mentally tough. And we mentioned how successful she's been at the Grand Slams. And that's a big part of it. She's talented, athletic, hits the ball clean off both sides, but her fight and her mental toughness is really what propelled her to where she is in women's tennis. Serena Williams.
There's a look at Sybille Bammer. Brilliant finish from Williams, who's sporting the yellow top, yellow hat.
It's important for Serena to get out to a good start in this match. Really start aggressively, assert herself in this match. She's such a great front runner, and oftentimes she can win so many matches on sheer intimidation. The bad news for Serena is that the only time she's ever played Sybille Bammer, she's lost. That was in 2007 in Hobart. Bammer winning that match 3-6, 7-5, 6-3.
Whoa!
So, 30 love up. Now she's down a break point, Serena. And there is that last meeting on a hardcourt there in Australia.
And that's what Bammer wants to avoid, those short balls up the middle of the court. That's where Serena is so dominant, stepping inside the baseline, taking advantage of any opportunity. That first serve is going to be so critical for Serena. Again, she likes to play first strike tennis. She wants to get that first good hit on the ball, start the point aggressively.
Williams avoids trouble in that opening game, gets on the board first. A chance to look at Sybille Bammer, who'll start off after trading sides in her opening service game. Actually, she's won 2 career titles and one coming this year in Prague, so she has to be feeling good about her game. She's 29 years old. She's also ranked number 29 in the world out of Linz in Austria. Beautiful spot, Linz. And ranked as high as 19, so she's cracked the top 20. Although you can see by her career, or excuse me, her match record this year, it's been a mixed bag. It's 17 wins, 14 losses.
Bammer's best result, aside from that win in Prague, was the quarterfinal appearance in Indian Wells. Unfortunately, she had to withdraw in the quarterfinals because of a shoulder injury. She was out for 3 weeks after that.
She's a player who possesses a very high ball toss. Right out of the picture.
It's a good thing for Sybille that it's not windy out there today. It's so tough to control that toss in windy conditions. Good play for Bammer. Hard up the middle of the court. Serena moves so well, side to side. She can really open up the court with those angles. I always felt like an effective play against her was that hard ball up the middle of the court. Take that away from her.
Nicely done there. Well, in our opening match today, Flavia Pennetta did a little bit of that to Venus Williams. There was times when she just went straight up the middle, forcing Venus to get out of the way of the ball.
It's effective play against Venus as well. Both Venus and Serena have remarkable foot speed. Their footwork leaves a little bit to be desired. And that footwork is such an important part when those balls do come up the middle. You have to make those small adjustment steps to get out of the way.
Now that's an interesting distinction, because oftentimes you need to make a lot of little steps, don't you, to get out of the way of the ball. It can be trickier than just running to the ball. There's plenty behind that forehand, wasn't there?
This is Serena Williams at her best, stepping inside the court and generates so much power. You can see effortless in her execution on that forehand.
She's wonderfully color coordinated today. I can't say the same about Bammer, however. I hate to be, a fashion. But she's got the blue shoes.
I'm waiting. I'm just waiting, eagerly anticipating your fashion assessment.
Well, the blue shoes.
Are they clashing with the green outfit?
Yeah, you need a green. I think you need green there. She's got the green wristband, though. So you can see there's a great comparison. Thank you, guys.
This is why they pay you the big bucks, Leaf.
So back to deuce. I'm even getting reports.
Any more commentary?
I'm getting reports that Venus's nails are painted yellow. Could that be true? Oh,
yeah, there you go.
I mean, now that's the ultimate right
she's
there.
Got some yellow on her racket, a little gold there.
Third time, game point for Bammer. Nice change of pace from Bammer there with the underspin backhand. One game all. Well, don't forget to check out USOpenSeries.com. You can find out the latest scores, standings, even the TV schedule here on the Olympus US Open Series. 10 events, including the ATP Tour leading up to the US Open. Remember, Tennis Channel will have our first 2 weeks of live coverage from Flushing Meadows. Hope you can follow our production this year. For Serena Williams, a big part of the U.S. Open story this year. Can she defend the title that she won so stylishly last year, taking out Sister Venus in the quarterfinals?
Oh!
That's what's so remarkable about Serena Williams, is that she does produce her best tennis at the Grand Slams. When the pressure is on, that's when she brings her best tennis.
Is that part of the reason why she isn't ranked number one, that Safina has been able to take the top spot, because she isn't as consistent throughout the year?
100% the reason.
Yeah.
The rankings are based on a 52-week season.
A love service game there. She'll be happy with that. 2-1 here in the opening set.
Who is the real number one? This has been subject of great debate over the last few months. Dinara Safina holding the number one ranking right now, not having won a Grand Slam title. Serena Williams briefly making an appearance at number one with 2 Grand Slam titles. Jelena Jankovic also obtaining that top spot, again without having won a Grand Slam title. And we talked about the consistency. Safina's been so consistent throughout the year. Solid Grand Slam performances and solid performances throughout the rest of the season. Yes, Serena plays her best under pressure. Take a look at the mastermind behind the Williams sisters, their father Richard. Serena Williams has been outspoken, saying that we all know who the real number one is, implying that she deserves that ranking because she does perform at the Grand Slams. And Safina says, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I perform the way I perform. I'm consistent throughout the year. She understandably thinks she deserves the number one ranking.
It's a great debate, and Tim Henman always settled debates about the computer when he said the computer doesn't lie. And according to the rules and how the tour is set up, that is, I think, a fair amount of truth in that statement, because Safina has been consistently adding points to her total, and that's why she's ahead of Serena right now. Now, Serena, over the course of the next month or two, could surpass Safina in the ranks.
Safina has a number of points coming off because she did so well at this time last year. But it's interesting, the 2 other players that obtained the number one ranking without having won a Grand Slam, Kim Clijsters and Amelie Mauresmo. It happened for them eventually, for each of them about a year and a half after they took over the number one spot.
So Bammer hangs on to her serve, 2 games all. Well, don't miss Tennis Channel's round-the-clock coverage of the 2009 U.S. Open. Catch the action from Flushing Meadows starting Monday, August 31st. That's live at 11 a.m. Eastern. And how many wonderful stories will unfold at this year's championship. On the men's side, is Andy Murray ready? Is Roger Federer ready for number 6? And how will Rafael Nadal play?
Lots of great storylines heading into this year's Open.
You can see why Bammer makes for a difficult opponent, because she's strong, she's athletic, she can stand up to the pace pretty well, and she's fairly consistent. And when she has time, she has enough muscle behind the ball to bother you just enough. Of course, no one possesses a serve like that in the women's tour. Kind of beautifully controlled location.
And again, just effortless in her production. That's where Serena has a huge advantage in the service department, something that she wants to use today. 15 seconds. We're praising the serve, and she throws in her second double fault of the match. Just to give you an idea of how important that first serve is and how big of a weapon it is for Serena. She's won 90% of the points when she's gotten her first serve in. As effective as her second serve is, she's got that kick serve, which naturally ends up going to Bammer's forehand. So Bammer has time to set up. It's not going to affect her as much as it would a right-handed player.
Set herself up beautifully and tidy to the finish. Serena Williams has yet to lose her serve here in Cincinnati. One of those early moments in a match where you say, gosh, it could have been so different. If I just won that point, I got a break early.
Yes, that's the excuse that any tennis player would use. And that's such a huge opportunity and a mistake, and unfortunately Bammer can't afford to make against someone like Serena. You have a break point and a second serve to her forehand. And that's where Bammer does get in trouble on that forehand side. She has that huge backswing. So a lot can go wrong before she makes contact with the ball.
It's wide as Serena Williams avoids break points against her. She's ahead 3-2. The first match on the schedule today was Venus Williams taking on Flavia Pennetta. And Pennetta, coming off a big win in Carson, was playing beautifully.
Well, Flavia Pennetta 13 matches won in a row coming into this match against Venus Williams and has a 3-3 record. So he knows she has the ability to take out someone of the caliber of Venus. She played an incredibly solid match today, full of confidence.
When you spoke with her after the match, it was fun to hear that I was shaking. I was so excited about possibly beating Venus Williams.
And well, she leads the head-to-head now. That's the funny part about it. She's 4-3 head-to-head now against Venus.
You don't see that too often with an elite player like Venus Williams having a losing record to someone outside the top 20 or even the top 10.
I can venture to say she doesn't have a losing record against many players, period.
Great achievement by Panetta. Panetta will take on Daniela Hantukova, who was a victor today over Vera Zvonareva. Syllable battle. Eating up that second serve, and we talked earlier about this toss she possesses. It's a moon launch.
Is it going to go off the screen? Oh, we're giving her lots of room, but
it's out of the stadium. That's for sure.
She executes it fairly well, but she has to wait a long time for that toss to come down.
Who are some of the players who did serve that way?
Raf had a pretty high toss.
Jana Novotná, Wimbledon champion.
It just boils down to timing. I mean, what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with the rhythm of your serve and you toss the ball that high, it can work out just fine. I mean, the players we mentioned have had great serves.
Yes,
challenging part gets into.
Yes, I wouldn't agree with that. I feel too many things can go wrong with that toss up high like that.
I was actually just going to add that the challenging part of the toss is when it's windy or if the conditions aren't perfect, there is a lot that can go wrong and that can throw you off a rhythm.
Yeah, so I think it's such a timing issue that with the ball dropping in the toss, it's better to have the ball dropping less because it's picking up speed, so your timing has to be so good.
And there's less room for error if you have a lower toss.
Exactly. Boy, that's a good shot. It caught the line.
That's an effective play against someone that moves as well as Serena to go behind her. She's running to cover the open court. My last comment about the toss, though, is if you are used to having a high toss, I had a fairly high one as well, it does sometimes disrupt your rhythm to try to bring it down because you're so used to striking the ball at a certain time.
Missed it wide. I think you see a little bit of the struggles with the toss from Maria Sharapova, who's abbreviated her motion, so you almost feel as if her toss has to be adjusted as well.
Yes, 100%. We went over the slow-mo side-by-side serves of Maria Sharapova before her shoulder surgery and after, and she's continuing to toss the ball as high as she did before, but she does have that abbreviated motion, and it's definitely thrown off her rhythm.
Yeah. First break point chance then for Serena.
Very interesting that Bammer chose to take that middle ball on the backhand. She's so much more comfortable with that backhand side. Look how far she runs around her forehand to hit that backhand. That's something that if I'm Serena, I take note of. If my opponent goes that far out of the way to avoid hitting a shot, I want to start playing that side.
Well, what does she do wrong on this two-handed?
You can see she's looking up before she finishes the shot. So important to keep your head down, stay with it, and then move forward and look up.
Solid tennis from Williams, just outmaneuvering Bammer. On that occasion, Bammer played with underspin, but Serena made the adjustment and converted a nice forehand cross court. Let's see if it did catch the line on our chase review. Missed it. Wow. It looked like it was closer than that, but Bammer will be happy to find that one turning out that way. Second chance to get to 3-all. Make that her third chance.
Great body serve there from Bammer, jamming Serena.
Well, here's our Orbits trivia question. We'll give you the answer, but don't go to your search engine. Serena Williams is 24-4 on hard courts this year.
We have to come up with 4?
Who were the 4 losses to? Wow.
Wow.
Well, we can remember one from Stanford. We saw that in the Open, or if you followed the coverage from Northern California. Australia.
Okay, Leaf, enough of the hints. And this is where Bammer gets into trouble on that forehand side. She can land it a little bit short, brushes up, doesn't get the penetration through the court. Gives Serena Williams plenty of time to set up for that backhand. Pretty consistent on that forehand side, but when Serena's had an opportunity to step inside the court, it's generally come off a forehand from Bammer. It's a great preparation by Serena on that forehand.
Serena Williams, a finalist in Miami. It's another clue.
Hint.
Yeah, just another trivia hint.
She lost in Sydney on hard courts.
So that time Bammer hit that forehand nicely. It wasn't the tremendous power, but length or depth is a great substitute for power. Williams finishes off with her own forehand. That one was a winner. She's up 4-3. We're on serve. We're going to pay off our trivia when we come back on Tennis Channel. Well, some highlights from earlier today. This was Kim Clijsters and Svetlana Kuznetsova squaring off in our second match. The French Open champion in all sorts of trouble. Down a set and 3 love. She recovered to win the second set. But it wasn't enough. Clijsters winning it in the third.
6-2. An incredible effort from Kim Clijsters, making the quarterfinals here in Cincinnati. Her first tournament back, and on paper had an incredibly tough draw. Bartoli first round, Schneider second round, and then the French Open champion Kuznetsova.
Yeah. It's been a great story, and it keeps on getting better. Let's see how you did on our trivia question. She's 24-4 on hard courts this year. Who were the 4 losses to? You may remember Stanford. She lost to Sam Stosur there. In Miami, she lost in the finals to Victoria Azarenka. Sister Venus took her out in Dubai. And then Tieva in Sydney. I couldn't remember that one. It's amazing how long and difficult a season it is for tennis players. We started in Australia on the hard courts there, shifted gears into the North American season, then to clay. Now we're back on hard courts. Not to mention the grass court season, which came and went in a flash. 3-4 weeks of tennis there.
It's always a challenge for tennis players, is figuring out your schedule, trying to peak for the 4 Grand Slams. I mentioned that's something Serena Williams has mastered.
Yeah, that's a solid service game there, and that lefty serve puts a right-hander in some uncomfortable positions. Well, Cincinnati is known as the chili capital of America. More chili restaurants per capita than any other city in the nation or the world. This is a look at Skyline Chili, a very popular spot.
You're going to hit that place up after the broadcast, Lee?
It looks pretty inviting.
I learn something new every day working with you, Lee.
Yeah, well, I learned a little bit about Cincinnati. One of the more famous Cincinnatians, Nick Lachey, was here singing the national anthem Monday night. Cincinnati with a very rich tennis history. The Cincinnati Tennis Club, by many records, is the oldest tennis club in America. This event used to be held there for a number of years.
Good anticipation here from Bammer, just holding her ground. Serena hitting that short ball right back to her. That's such a smart play. Doesn't go for the outright winner on the pass. Takes a little pace off, dips it down to Serena's feet, makes her hit this tough half volley, and then sets up the path on the next shot.
Sorry, her movement in defense was quite good there, wasn't it?
The one thing I will say is that Bammer's so solid off the ground, but she had an opportunity to really close that point out. She didn't quite pull the trigger. She lacks that one big weapon.
Yeah, she had Serena on the run there, didn't she? Just couldn't quite amp it up enough. That was a long run, but she couldn't come up with it. The volley from Serena was good enough. She's up 5-4 in the opening set. When we come back, Bammer will serve to stay alive. The Olympus U.S. Open Series continues tomorrow on ESPN2 with quarterfinal action at 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll also have quarterfinal action at 9 p.m. on Tennis Channel. Check out usopenseries.com for all the information of the schedule, the players, the results. Of course, the Olympus U.S. Open Series now in its 6th season. It's really a regular season of hardcourt tennis linking the 10 summer tournaments. Find out more about it at the usopenseries.com. And that's a difficult serve to read if you're a right-hander.
Bammer does a good job of mixing up her serves. As much as we've given her a hard time for that toss, she's using the serve effectively today. Talk about Bammer's serve. She has the advantage of being a lefty, and that slice from a lefty gives your opponents a different look at the serve, especially against someone that returns as well as Serena, likes to have a rhythm on the serve. Mixing up the speed and the spins is so important.
Doesn't fall over for Williams. Bammer hangs on to her serve. And a look at some of the past women's champions from the Olympus U.S. Open Series. 5 different champions since the Olympus U.S. Open Series started in 2004. And a look at some past champions from this event, including the men. Andy Roddick, 06. He was also a U.S. Open Series champ, the only one who's won it twice. Lindsay Davenport, a champion in 2004.
Was on her way to winning the U.S. Open Series in 04.
Yeah, that year a semifinals at the U.S. Open. Part of the Olympus U.S. Open Series, the bonus schedule is based on your finish at the U.S. Open.
See the frustration from Serena. So many unforced errors. Clearly not playing her best tennis. And again, you can see how quickly she opened up before she made contact with the backhand.
That's the story so far.
Serena, 19 unforced errors, and she's hanging in this match at 5-all.
Yeah, and we were saying the same thing about Venus Williams in her match with Panetta. She had almost 20 unforced errors by the time she got to the first set tiebreak. So the Williamses can be vulnerable when they're in this sort of erratic mode.
We talked about how Serena steps up her game at the Grand Slams. I also think that her opponents often in Grand Slam situations where the pressure is heightened have a tendency to let her off the hook more easily. Whereas at the smaller tournaments and the regular tour events, there's not as much pressure, there's not as much media attention. I think it's a little bit easier in the smaller tournaments to put that final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, the lights aren't quite so bright here in Cincinnati as compared to the Big Apple. Still has a break point here, Bammer. This is her 5th now of the set. Oh, Serena missed it. She earned the short ball. Maybe is half a step slow getting to it. So Bammer breaks serve. She'll serve for the opening set when we come back. The lefty from Austria taking advantage of a very rough Serena. She's struggling. Back at the Linder Tennis Center here in Cincinnati, site of the Western and Southern Financial Group Women's Open. Well, Serena's sister Venus was upset today. Now Serena is in a losing position here in the opening set. Can she reverse this 5-6 deficit?
So interesting, because this is what we saw from Venus Williams earlier today. We talked about the unforced errors, but especially when it mattered in that tiebreak against Panetta, Venus Williams just handed the set over to Flavia. And Serena, in much the same way, gave that game away at 5-all. Careless error first point of this game. She's mistiming that backhand.
Well, we noticed on the last changeovers that she changed rackets as well. Boy, the frustration is clearly evident here. Directing some
She's
of
talking to her father.
Yeah. Remember, their only other meeting, Bammer won that matchup in Hobart, Australia on hardcourts.
We saw Serena's frustration. She's not just missing, well, she's missing big. I mean, that backhand earlier in this game in the bottom of the net, that forehand was 12 feet out. Cannot find her range at all on either side.
And you see her looking at the racket. If you're thinking about your tension in your racket, boy, does that get to you. Set points for Bammer. And another error from Serena Williams, and Sybille Bammer, unseeded, has taken the opening set from the world number 2, 7-5.
Welcome back to third round action from Cincinnati. Serena Williams taking out some of her frustration on that Wilson racket. 24 unforced errors from Serena in the first set against Bammer. Just has not found her range yet in this match, and the number 2 player in the world in trouble here against the player she's lost to in the past in their only meeting.
Number 15.
This is a big game for Serena Williams, trying to restore order.
It's going to be interesting to see if she regains her composure. Clearly lost it after that first set.
And her frustrations really boiled over earlier.
Let's take a look at this for the fourth time. Maybe we can slow it down, get that motion.
Well, you know, we don't
break it down.
We don't see her do that too often,
No.
and it reminded me a little bit of Roger Federer in Miami.
Where it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that came out of nowhere as well.
But Serena's generally more demonstrative with her emotion than Roger Federer.
Bammer is convinced that this was out. She asked for the review. Doesn't pay off. One thing Bammer has done well, which she didn't do on that occasion, is she seems willing to put the ball into play. You know, as you said, she doesn't possess great power, but under pressure, she makes you play. And that's been good enough today.
That's all it's taken so far against Serena.
Solid tennis.
That was a more aggressive point from Serena. She moved the ball off the court. Look at the angle she gets on this backhand. Recognizes that Bammer's on the defense and moves forward immediately. Bammer's been aided tremendously by the unforced errors from Serena. And we saw even in that last rally, and with the statistics that we just saw on the screen, 6 winners. So she's not winning the points outright. She's winning most of her points from errors off the racket of Serena.
Yeah, she really is allowing Williams to lose them. There's the second serve. 4th break point chance. Good tennis. Well, this is where Williams has been winning some points, coming in, taking these floating balls on the fly. She's needed every one of them.
Again, moving the ball around the court. That's important for Serena, getting Bammer out of position. That's given her the opportunity to move forward and finish the point at the net. A huge game for Serena to get out of after being down love 40.
And just her second ace. She led the tour in aces coming in to Cincinnati. 258 aces in 42 matches. Not many today.
It's a great return. Again, we've talked about the advantage that the lefty has. This is another advantage that Bammer has. That kick serve from Serena, which would normally go above a two-handed backhand on a righty, above the player's head, that goes right into Bammer's forehand. Much easier to hit a high forehand than a high backhand.
Williams.
Well, that was an important game for Serena Williams. A look now at our Western and Southern Financial Group match summary so far, and just so many unforced errors.
Yeah, that's the key statistic. 27 unforced errors, and Bammer winning that set, but having so many opportunities. Only 1 of 9 on break points. And Bammer's just played a solid match. We mentioned only 6 winners, 10 unforced errors, but getting enough balls back, keeping the points long enough to force Serena into the error. We'll see if Bammer's concentration lapses. So often the case when you have an opportunity to go up a set and a break. She had love 40 on Serena's serve. You know you missed a huge chance. It's tough to recover from that and refocus.
And Serena, you feel, has to give Bammer a chance to get nervous, but when she misses early in the rally, doesn't get the ball in play, Bammer just grows in confidence.
To credit Bammer for stepping into that backhand.
So 1 game all. Don't forget to check out the new Olympus US Open Series It Must Be Love player commercials at usopenseries.com. The one featuring Serena Williams, very entertaining, as is the one with Venus with her dog Harold, which is also the name of our distinguished producer in the truck, Harold Hecht. That forehand just tailing away. It just didn't hold its line.
Well, and for Serena, when she's playing her best tennis, she can produce winners from anywhere on the court. I think sometimes she'd be better served when she's not feeling as confident or as comfortable out there to rein it in a little bit. Sometimes she gets into trouble trying to go for these extreme winners from positions in the court that aren't suited to go for those kinds of shots. And that's where footwork and positioning comes into play. Is if you're going to go for those extreme shots, you want to make sure you're in perfect position to do so.
Now she reined it in pretty well in this point. Went a little deeper in the rally. Bammer unable to finish. That's the kind of service game she needs. Strong at the finish. 2-1 in the second. Well, Serena Williams has had a marvelous run at the U.S. Opens, at Wimbledon, and at the Australian Open of late. 2009, she won in Melbourne, taking out her big sister in the Wimbledon final this year. Some of her great performances.
We talked about what a great champion she is. This is why 11 Grand Slam titles. Especially right now in women's tennis, she's been so dominant on the premier stage.
Yeah, the match record at slams is so impressive. Over 170 wins, just 20-something losses. Remarkable stuff. Well, she's going to have to find a way to win here when she hasn't been at her best. Lost the opening set, but up 2-1 in the second.
That is something that Serena does so well, is find a way to win when she's not playing her best tennis. She's played so many matches where she's come from behind. That's what makes her so mentally tough. She plays well from behind, she fights. She's also a great front runner.
Sergio.
31 unforced errors so far from Serena.
You mentioned her ability to come from behind. When she won the title at Wimbledon, she was down a match point to Elena Dementieva, and that was the third time now that she saved match points on the way to a Grand Slam title. That's the most of any woman tennis player in history. So 2 games all in the second set. The Western and Southern Financial Group Women's Open. Glad you could be a part of our coverage here on Tennis Channel. I'm Lee Sharis alongside Karina Morariu. Serena Williams in a third round match, round of 16s, against Sybille Bammer of Austria. And the world number 2 is in a world of trouble, down a set. 2-all in the second set. play her way into the quarterfinals. She's in the very bottom of the draw. The winner of this match to take on another tough third-round match. Jelena Jankovic is taking on Victoria Azarenka.
And that match being played on an outside court. Just goes to show you how strong this field is. You have a former #1 player taking on one of the hottest players on the women's tour this year in Victoria Azarenka.
Yeah, the current #1, Dinara Safina, she'll play her third-round match tonight against Peng Shuai. The winner of that match will take on Kim Clijsters.
Those are the kinds of errors that I was talking about, where Serena's not in great position. She's 8 feet behind the baseline. When you're that far back, you want to make sure you get some top spin, get that height over the net, give yourself that clearance.
Well, the first serve sets up so many chances for her. She could use another one here at 15:30. Well, that was a tight point from Bammer. She had a chance there to do something with the pass.
Serena's such an imposing presence at the net. That's the poor footwork that we've been referring to. Just kind of holds her ground, doesn't make those small adjustment steps, especially when the ball's coming slower. You have more time. You can't afford to just plant yourself and wait for it.
See all the chancers that Bammer has had. Bammer was guilty of not doing enough, and Williams made her pay the price.
You talked about the tight pass a couple points ago. I mean, this is a tight point from Bammer. She had so many opportunities to put the ball away, or at least get Serena on the defense. Had that short forehand. But Serena is making Bammer play.
That makes your job difficult when you get to game point. You throw in the double back to deuce.
Serena's really been her own worst enemy in this match today.
It's funny, normally when she's fighting hard, when she hits a good shot, she pumps her fists and toughs it out. I don't see that today. There's an air of resignation about her that's could be dangerous. Another break point. So Bammer is able to get a break here in the second set. She has the first set as well. Serena Williams in some real trouble here in Cincinnati.
Number 2 player in the world, Serena Williams. Tons of trouble right now against Sybille Bammer, and this is why. 37 unforced errors from Serena Williams. Visibly frustrated with her performance so far today.
Check out the match differential. Some numbers here that are stunning, really.
Sybille Bammer with only 7 winners, who's played a solid match. But for the number 2 player in the world to be losing to someone that's only produced 7 winners over the course of a match is a disappointing performance.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about her ability to come back to play a back game if you're a backgammon fan, but no one likes to be down a set and a break. The question is now, can Bammer hold on to her nerve, hold on to her serve, and this advantage?
This is where Bammer has another advantage in that she's beaten Serena before. So she has that 1 win under her belt. It's always challenging to close out a match against the top player, but it definitely helps if you've done it in the past. It also helps if your opponent misses returns consistently.
Just to give you an idea of Bammer's Grand Slam play this year, she was first round at the Australian, second round at the French, first round at Wimbledon. She did win a smaller event in Prague. Actually, it was Melanie Oudin who beat her at Wimbledon. Good win for the American. 3 sets.
Game.
4-2 Bammer. Don't miss Tennis Channel's round-the-clock coverage of the 2009 U.S. Open. We'll start our coverage Monday, August 31st, live from Flushing Meadows. That's the last day of August. We begin our fortnight of coverage. Hope you can be a part of it as we follow the fortunes of Serena Williams as she tries to defend the title that she won in 2008. We're watching her here in Cincinnati, and it's nothing like that experience. Down a set in 4-2. Now that's the way it's going for Bammer today. Net cord winner.
We have to give Bammer credit for playing a solid match. And she's given Serena the opportunity to beat herself by staying in the points, being so solid off the ground.
Well, another poor game for Serena Williams, and that may just put an end to it for Sybille Bammer now. 2 breaks up, 5-2. Here's a look at our Tennis Express gear update on Serena Williams. She's a longtime supporter of Nike sportwear, wearing the Air Max Mirabella. She's sporting a Wilson K-Factor K-Blade. And earlier she wasn't particularly happy about this one.
The K-Blade was taking a beating.
As strong as she is, I'd hate to think of the impression it left on the hardcourt here. A Deco Turf 2 hardcourt surface. So Sybille Bammer poised to pull off so far the biggest upset of this week. World number 2, a game away from being shown the door by Sybille Bammer.
15 more.
Another solid first serve from Bammer. She's won 100% of the points so far in the set when she's made her first serve. An incredible statistic because she doesn't have a huge first serve. She's not Pete Sampras out there.
Yeah.
It's a good solid 3/4 serve, mixes it up well, but she's 12 for 12 right now. Or excuse me, now 12 for 13. She lost that last point.
Tactic for Williams: when she can play the ball in the air, she's winning the majority of the points. Second break is looking more meaningful now, isn't it? 15-40.
That was a more aggressive return from Serena off that 3/4 pace. Serve. She took a step to the side, gave herself some room to swing out on that forehand.
too. There wasn't a lot of room to thread that needle.
This backhand, Bammer's 9th winner. Serena, at this point, Bammer's a little bit tense. And I would play Bammer's forehand. That's her weaker side. It's clearly the side that she's least comfortable on. You want to make her hit winners from her least favorite side.
A little bit of tension there.
And that's where we were talking about earlier with the toss, where it becomes challenging because you have so much time to think and get out of sync when you toss the ball as high as Bammer does.
6 double faults. And break point number 6 for Williams. She has yet to convert today. Well, a couple of double faults, and this one's looking very interesting indeed. Something for some Williams fans to cheer about. The world number 2 has life, if only barely.
Bammer clearly getting tight, serving for the match in that last game. And if anyone is going to seize a moment of vulnerability on their opponent's part, it's going to be Serena Williams. Unfortunately for Bammer, it's not going to get any easier. That was the easiest task that she was going to have, serving up a set in 2 breaks. The tension's going to only mount from this point forward.
She went after that one. Watch her lean on that ball. 81 miles per hour. She can make it look easy when she gets it right, but she'll need to get it right again. Bammer will serve for the match for a second time when we come back. Tennis fans enjoying the action here in Cincinnati, the Western and Southern Financial Group Women's Open. Serena Williams trying to hang on here. Sybille Bammer serving for the match for the second time. Our coverage of the Olympus U.S. Open Series continuing here in Cincinnati.
Bammer was broken in her last service game for the first time in this match. That's where she's going to get into trouble, because she double faulted her last service game away. 2 doubles to give Serena the break. Now she's just going to try to spin that first serve in, but that's going to give Serena the opportunity to be aggressive off the return.
Well, Williams measured herself, paced herself well in the rally, but just couldn't finish it.
I'm surprised by how many unforced errors have come off her backhand side. That's usually her strongest side. Again, just pulling off that backhand.
A rally of 24 strokes, one of the longest of the day. And one of the shortest rallies on that occasion, and it was Serena Williams making the mistake early in the rally. Now it's Bammer. Bammer earlier ran around her forehand to hit a backhand. This time she gets around the backhand to hit a forehand.
She was already running that way.
So
but she did a better job on that forehand, getting that racket head acceleration.
2 points away. You can feel the pressure in this stadium.
Big first serve from Bammer. Not necessarily with the speed, but with the placement, pulling Serena Williams off the court.
Pulls off the upset. Straight sets over Serena Williams, who really struggled to find her best tennis today. And Sybille Bammer from Austria into the quarterfinals here in Cincinnati.
Good effort from Bammer. She was clearly nervous trying to close out this match. Held her nerve. Played a solid last game to close out this match.
Yeah, she was down 15-30 there, but was able to win 3 straight points as Serena Williams, again, coughing up so many unforced errors, and really Bammer was just playing a solid match and then trying to hang on.
And that's exactly what she did. Serena Williams with 44 unforced errors in that match today, so there's no question that she contributed significantly to Bammer's victory today.
It's a remarkable day when Venus and Serena Williams lose on the same day in a tournament, particularly this early, the third round. It happened at the French Open a year ago where they lost on the same day, and it was a stunner. It's a stunner again, but Sybille Bammer is victorious. 7-5, 6-4. Stay with us from Cincinnati. Well, here in Cincinnati, it's been a day of surprises. Sybille Bammer has taken out the Wimbledon champion. Her daughter Tina enjoying the walk off court, watching her mom upset the world number 2. So she's not the only mom who's busy here in Cincinnati. Our Olympus shot of the day, and it features one of the few forays to the net for the Austrian star.
Good anticipation from Bammer. Good technique on that volley, keeping her racket head out in front. This is one of Bammer's 9 winners over the course of this match against Serena. She didn't do anything spectacular today.
Yeah.
But played a solid match, allowed Serena to beat herself.
Yeah, she really managed her emotions well to knock off such a great star. And Serena Williams. So Sybille Bammer caps off a big day here on Tennis Channel, upsetting Serena Williams. Another great day of Olympus U.S. Open Series tennis. Make sure to check out ESPN2 tomorrow. That's 5 o'clock Eastern. They'll have quarterfinal action. And on Tennis Channel, we'll have quarterfinal coverage starting at 9 o'clock Eastern. Thanks for joining us on Tennis Channel, home of the Slams. For Lindsay Davenport, Karina Murario, I'm Leif Shiras. And remember, our U.S. Open coverage begins August 31st. We'll be there for 2 weeks. Hope you can be a part of that great experience in Flushing Meadows. So long from Mason, Ohio.